Warning: this episode contains content that may be disturbing or sensitive to listeners. Discretion is advised.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair.
These are the chat rules. Be respectful to one another. No racism, hate speech, offensive speech, or harassment. No soliciting, begging, asking for money, goods, roles, or favors. No spamming, scamming, trolling, doxing, harassing, or starting drama in this chat. There will be no fighting in this chat, no name calling, no trashing, no bashing, and no hateful comments to my panel guests. If you cannot follow my rules, you may be warned, your comment may be timed out, and you may be blocked from participating in this live stream chat. This is not an echo chamber, but this is also not a question and answer live stream. Brian and Shay can answer questions at their own discretion. My name is Dutchess, and I'm simply the host of this public conversation about Tyler Doyle's missing case, the investigation. The family wants to clear the air. They have information they want the public to be aware of, and they ask if I would be willing to allow them to have a space to do that. Thank you all for taking the time to join us here this evening for this conversation. Please stay on topic in the chat, and I appreciate you respecting the house rules. Hey everyone, my name is Dutchess, and this is Dutchess Discussions, where we talk about true crime and missing cases. And tonight, we're going to have a conversation with my special guests that are going to be here. And I'm going to introduce them. But first, I want to make sure that everyone in the chat understands the rules and guidelines of this conversation. This is not a Q&A. If the family decides at any time to come back and do a Q&A, then they can let me know that they want to do that. It's not something that I've asked them to do, it's something that they want to do. So I'm an advocate and a friend of the Doyle family, and they're like my family. And I want you guys to please respect them. They have really been through a lot and have a story to tell. And I want you guys to make sure that you listen very intently at the things that they are going to say tonight. Please welcome Shay Boyd and Brian Doyle. to Dutchess Discussions. Please give them some hearts and prayer hands in the chat and give them a warm welcome for being here and being so brave to come and share their thoughts and feelings about Tyler. I know this is very difficult for both of you, and I really appreciate you both taking the time to have this conversation with us. So, and thank you all in the chat for being here. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to come over. So, looks like we have a lot of people praying for you guys. Just wanted to share that with y'all. So we're just going to kind of get into it. And Brian?
Yes, ma'am.
It's been 83 days since your son took his John boat out into the Little River Inlet at the very boat landing right here. I'm looking out my kitchen window right now. And I can't forget that night when I got the call about this. And I know this must be very difficult for you. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you've been through the last 83 days since your son has gone missing?
This is the worst thing I've ever dealt with in my life.
I can only imagine. We're here to support you. Okay, we're not here to pass judgment or anything like that.
He's been very strong despite not knowing where his son has been for all this time. And the one thing that I can say about me and my brother is that it has definitely brought us to a place that we are so close. We've always been close. But it makes you look at life so differently, because one day you are sitting on your couch watching TV and my mom calls me and says, you need to go with your brother. Tyler can't be found. And I said, what are you talking about? I mean, it was just a shock. I was just sitting on the couch and boom, I got up. I got in my car. I drove as fast as I could to get to that landing. And my brother was right there with me. And we've been together from day one for 83 days, me and him.
Yes.
Yeah, Shay's been right there with me, and my wife, Brooke. I couldn't have made it without her.
Talk to me about what happened that night exactly. I know when I came out to the boat landing, there were a lot of people out there because it didn't just happen. This was probably about 7:30, 8 o'clock when I first got the information, and I was like, oh my goodness. Went out there with my husband to see what was going on. And I remember seeing your vehicle, Shay. Didn't know it was you at the time because we didn't know each other.
Right.
But you guys were leaving. Talk to me about what happened that night. How did you find out all of this was taking place?
Well, to start with, they led us to believe that he was in the ambulance.
Okay, so you got that. That's why you guys were leaving the boat landing here at T. Craig Campbell. You got the information that he was actually at Windjammer.
Yes.
Okay.
And we were so relieved, and we just took off because we knew we were going to see him when we got there.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through that. What did that look like? You drive up to Windjammer and
we had a hard time getting in the gate because it's a private community. And then we get in there and we find out that Tyler is not in that ambulance. It was the other kid that was with him. And of course, we completely break down and don't know what to think because it was cold.
Yeah,
and we see this other kid who we thought was Tyler going to be in there. And then me and my brother just run down because we see the other lights coming down the waterway from the other. It was actually Cito at the time. We didn't know it. And we just knew that it was another rescue boat bringing Tyler to us, and everything was going to be okay. It was just him coming later. And we just watched them take his boat and drag it right past us, and we lost it. But in between driving to the other landing from that landing, I called 911. And it's so crazy because I was so upset and so scared that after so many weeks, I didn't even remember calling 911 because we were so upset. It was when you find out that he's not there, and then I just didn't know what to do. I had my brother by his hand and trying to be there with him because I can't imagine what he was feeling. This is his son, his child.
The empty feeling. It's like it's hot all over. And I don't know how to describe it. It's the most awful feeling I ever felt in my life.
I'm so sorry that you both have experienced this situation, having a loved one go missing in such a scary and horrific way and not have any closure or answers about a situation like this. It's unimaginable. And Shay, we've talked about this 911 call. Remember when I told you that I was going to FOIA these phone calls, and I said, well, who do you think that fourth phone call's from? Remember that conversation? And you said, I don't know. And of course, I know you people in the Facebook groups are watching. Hey, y'all. They really got onto me. Oh, she's lying. She knows it's Shay. But see, I didn't
even know it was me. I didn't.
I know. And when I got the calls, and I did get to hear that fourth call, because I'd only heard the calls about what was released to the media, because my FOIA thing had not come in yet, And then when I did get the calls and I listened to them, that very first call was you. And we talked about it, and you said, I really want you to play my call, because they didn't play my call, and people have no idea what that was like. And I want to know, do you want me to play that call?
You can play it, sure, because, and I will explain why whenever I realized that it was me and I look back on it, me and my brother were so distraught, not knowing, we know Tyler, we know how strong he is, how hot-natured he is, and I just knew that he was going to be fine. That cold water, that cold night, he was going to come back to us. And my brother's life and all our family's life, his wife, my parents, Michelle, his little brother Reed, it was like you went from that to your life being turned upside down. Everybody who loves Tyler, from that day on, it was just you were turned upside down and you just weren't thinking right. So I didn't even remember calling 911 because my focus from that minute forward, I stayed with my mom that night in the parking lot. We slept in her car because I just knew he was going to come back, and we needed everybody else to go home and get rest so they could come back early in the morning and help search. So yeah, I did call 911, and it's pretty sad when you listen to it. But the lady who did answer the call, she was very kind and loving, and she really made, when I look back on it, she did help me and make me feel better when I listened to it.
And you know what? It's to be expected. You don't, just because you didn't remember that and you told me that you didn't know, like, you've been through this traumatic experience, and I totally understand that. So,
Yeah.
I don't feel any type of way about what other people that aren't there, they don't necessarily judge that situation about what's really happening between you and I, because I understand. I see you guys all the time. I know what y'all been through, and it's
right. And what people really don't
to get through a lot.
They don't know that my emotions that night are for my brother, because I had him with me and he's looking for his child. And we are a very close family, We always been very close. and there's never been a holiday we've not spent together. And so I'm with my brother, my only sibling. And that's the emotion you hear in that call, is because I was so worried about him and Tyler, of course, because I just knew we were going to find him. And then I had to keep my composure, and I was crying, and I had my brother there that I'm just trying to take care of, and it's his child. And that's where my heart was at with him.
Yeah. So if you don't want me to play the call, I won't. But
No,
if you want people to hear it,
you can play
I don't.
it. It's fine.
You know, you had given me permission to play that call for people before, and I told you, I said I would never do that because it would just not seem like people might judge me and say, I can't believe she played her call.
No, you can play it. And,
I wanted people to hear you say that you wanted me to play it. You know,
yes, you can play it.
Okay, so this is going to be the FOIA call for Shea Boyd. So let me pull that up. And so you guys can hear this and know what that is like.
Emergency. I'm sorry. I think that we may have just found him. My nephew, Tyler Doyle. Okay, now I see him. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to call you. He was okay, I will. I'm pulling up now. Let me get parked and the coast.
For everyone in the chat, can you guys hear that okay? Are you able to hear that okay, Shay and Brian?
Mm-hmm.
Had to get him out of the. Yes, Tyler. They had to get him out of the jetty. And I'm at a boat landing somewhere. The ambulance is already here, but I couldn't find him, and now hold on. I'm gonna put you.
Thank you, Jason.
Windjammer boat ramp. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Windjammer boat ramp. They don't have to work. Okay. No, they're not still looking. Are you kidding me? They're still looking for him. Jesus Christ, have mercy, no. No, everything. We thought that he was. Somebody said that they already had him. Oh, Jesus Christ, oh God. I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm sorry. Oh, it's okay. Stay on the line.
Shay, you are so brave. Do you know that?
I didn't know what else to do but to call myself, and it was a very traumatic afternoon.
Yes.
Very, because when you expect to get there and you want you know your loved one that you love so much is going to be there, he's going to be okay. You get there, he's not. I mean, we didn't know what to think.
We still have a little bit more of the call to go. So, of course, I already gave a trigger warning in the introduction, and if you weren't here, that's where the trigger warning was, and this is why, because you may hear some things here that may be uncomfortable. So this is why, because we're just trying to spread the truth. We want to share the facts. So this is the rest of that call.
God help me, Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah, no worries. You're okay. We're gonna find out. God have mercy, Jesus. Help me, Lord. Lord, please, I'm begging you, Jesus. Please, God. Please, Jesus. Please, God. Please, Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Come here. Here. Lord, Jesus. We just gotta pray. We gotta pray. That's all we can do. Honey, just pray. Just pray. Pray. Just pray. Jesus, God, have mercy, Jesus, please, God. Jesus, that's all we can do is pray. Pray.
crying in the background, and my husband.
That's what I thought.
He was that we kneeled down at a tree that was there to pray. And that was Brian talking and my husband, and Reed was there too.
God, in your name, Jesus, please. Oh, Jesus, please. We are begging you to bring him home safe, please. Oh my God. We thought he was fine. They told us that he was okay.
I'm right here.
Oh, God have mercy. Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him, but he was in the water, and apparently he knew us. He knew that his boat was sinking, and so he called somebody for help. And I don't know, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm beside myself right now. And I'm
right here. Right here.
Is there anything that you can tell us?
There's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, anything.
They're just looking for him. That's all I know.
Jesus, God have mercy, please. Can I get out? Can I get off the phone with you now, or?
If you feel like if you have somebody there with you.
Yes, sir. My brother's here with me, my husband, my other nephew.
Do you see an ambulance or
they're right here with us. It says Horry County Fire and Rescue. I'm gonna ask this guy what his name is.
Stay with him, okay?
Okay.
Stay with him. And
Hi, what's your name, sir? I'm talking to a lady in Wood 911.
James Bay, Horry County Fire Rescue.
Okay.
I can send an officer here and just give you guys updates on what's going on.
Okay, so he said, could you please send an officer here to give us updates of what's going on?
Okay.
Oh, there's an officer on the way. Never mind.
There's
911.
Oh, that's dispatch. Yeah, tell them. Yeah. Horry County Fire Rescue is right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear them. All right, you stay with them, okay?
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
And if you do find him before they do, call us back, okay?
I will, I promise. Thank you, ma'am.
I'm praying for y'all.
That was really kind of her to say that she was praying for you.
It was very kind of her. She was very kind. That was a very
Difficult to listen to.
it was
And
hard
it
to
still
listen
makes me upset to hear you like that.
I mean, we
I
really did
I
think
could
that
do something.
night that we were going to have Tyler there, and that's what we couldn't understand, what happened, why he didn't come back.
So, Shay, how difficult has this been for you the last 83 days? What does it mean to not have Tyler here? I mean, of course, we've talked about this a lot.
It's terrible.
It's awful. It's
That's
a
all I
nightmare.
think about 24 hours a day.
Can you tell us the nickname that you called Tyler?
Tata.
Tata.
Yeah.
Sweetest name.
He's always been he was born good. He really was. He was a good baby. He was a good toddler. He was a good little kid. He was a good grown man. He was a good friend, a good husband. He was a good child. He was just so good, all around good. Yeah, his daddy's best friend for sure.
Now, Brian, you and Tyler raced cars.
Yeah.
That's a family thing that you shared, that you guys did together. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes,
I
ma'am.
see some of your racing family here in the chat, I believe.
Yeah.
Here, I see a camshaft, and then I see Caden MC, who says that they love Tyler.
There's a lot of good people in the racing world.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them that's really been stepped up, especially Mike Mapes.
Yeah, he has.
He
Tyler
closed
had
his
so
shop
many
down. He
friends.
would close his shop down to come out and try to help us find Tyler.
Yeah.
He
And
was,
so many other people too, yeah.
I mean, there's so many. I mean, he brought so many people together. It was
like he's such a
unbelievable.
good kid.
It was overwhelming to see the amount of people who came out to search for Tyler.
Absolutely.
I mean, the very next morning, me and my mom, we saw guys pulling up. I think it was I got my mom on speakerphone right now too. Mom, what was it, like 3:30 in the morning? Guys were coming out and they were coming out and they were there just waiting for the sun to come up so they could search for Tyler. And it didn't stop. It was just, they flooded in day after day after day to search for him.
This
And
program was packed. Every single morning, my husband would get up at 5 o'clock. He'd come in there and he'd say, "You wouldn't believe all the people that are out here with their boats, putting them in the water right now." And we'd get up every morning. We would just watch, out of our kitchen window. And I thought, this young man is truly loved by people in this community. But we have a great community of people that we care about people. When something like this happens, there's so many people that volunteered to come out and jump in and offer to take the time to search.
Yes.
Which brings me to another topic that I want to ask just a quick question about. It's something that we've talked about that you were wanting to bring up, but I know that DNR is the investigative agency that is over Tyler's missing case. Talk to me a little bit about what it's been like having your family member go missing in the water, but not being able to get a missing persons report.
Not only that.
Go ahead, Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
We had to do their job for them, and then when my wife Brooke, she took the time to call and get these resources provided, and then they wouldn't even accept them.
Yeah, she did. She did, because when I called behind her, they had already talked to her. She was ahead of the game, doing what she could to help Brian.
Well, God bless Brooke for that. God bless Brooke for that. And that brings me to, later on in the case, after Wings of Hope was here, I had called out to South Carolina Search and Rescue and another lady who has search and rescue in Bird Island, not Bird Island, but in Hilton Head Island. And I also reached out to Michelle Galliot, who is a law enforcement agent in Richland County, South Carolina, who trains police dogs, and he does a lot of search and rescue. And I had all of their personal phone numbers that was given to me by another South Carolina search and rescue, because I cover missing cases in this state. So I have connections to a lot of people. So I made some phone calls. Shay, what did I do with that information when I collected all of that information that these people were willing to come out? I spoke to them, right? And what
Yes,
did they
you did, and you gave it all to me. And that day, the lead investigator for Tyler's case was not there, so he had a fill-in. And I gave all that information to her, and she said, "I have to turn it over to my superior." And I said, "We have 2 people willing to come. They work during the week, but they can come on the weekends." And she said, "Well, let me get with my superior." Of course, we never hear nothing else again. That's how it's been the entire time, dealing with them. trying to get outside help that's free, that people are trying to come. And Wings of Hope was not free for us. I mean, we had volunteers from our family and friends. That was what was free. Wings of Hope came out and we donated money. Our family, our friends donated money. DNR, whatever expenses they had, I'm not sure. But when we offered up for them to invite people to come and help look for Tyler, we got nowhere. They shoot it down every time.
People had to have, and they have to be invited by South Carolina DNR, especially the law enforcement officer. But
That's what the
expertise, you know.
The Air Force told us the same thing. They were willing and able to come.
That's right. And
boots on the ground, helicopters, the whole 9 yards.
And what happened with that, Brian? Tell us what happened.
There was still time. If
Yes.
they would have found Tyler, he could have been okay.
That's right.
But no, they turned him down.
They let the Civil Air Patrol, which I did announce that at the prayer vigil. That
2.5 weeks later.
Right, 2.5 weeks later, they let the Civil Air Patrol, just so everybody knows the truth.
Yeah.
They only let them search for, what was it, 24 hours?
If that.
If that. And then told them that it was done. And it didn't cost South Carolina DNR a dime.
No.
Nothing.
But Ronnie Floyd's boss made a video recently.
Yeah, and that's a lie too.
And
that's a disgusting video that is a disgrace towards the DNR. I mean, if he's in charge, then what? To talk about money over a human being, the DNR is in charge of wildlife, and that's what they should be in charge of, not human beings. Because
or writing somebody a ticket for throwing out trash. That's about all good for.
Picking up a person off of picking up a fish that's too big or too many oysters. They should not be in charge over a human being's life, because Tyler Doyle's case is going to prove that. They have failed our family, failed him tremendously. And for that man to go on TV and say that it was about money and then retract it immediately goes to show you what kind of character and professional that you're dealing with. I mean, this is terrible.
They ain't got their shit together is what it is. Never had it
They
together
don't
from
know
day
what they're
one.
doing.
Unorganized.
Yes, and we have no power as a family. We have zero power against law enforcement, no matter who I call, no matter how long I stay on the phone, no matter what I do. And my brother can tell you that I have been the one who's called the Coast Guard. And I can say for Brunswick County DNR, they have been amazing to work with. I still have Jake's phone number. I can call him anytime I want to. He's very cooperative. But the rest of them, I mean, it has been the most difficult thing I've ever seen in my life. Begging for a missing persons report after 2 weeks of him being gone. And I'm told no over and over and over again. But I'm told he's dead. Okay, so if he's dead, then why can't you give me a missing persons report? But you can't prove he's dead either. And I've got all this documentation to prove that he filled out forms that said that he was missing. And he did not do that until March 14th. And Tyler went missing on January 26th.
And he gave a statement, which if you watched my introduction video that I put out prior to this live stream to kind of get people back in gear with their minds about what this case is about and why it is still very important to this family and to all of us. And it's because Tyler was never found. The DNR did not want to file this missing persons report. In fact, Shay, I believe that you actually have some phone calls about trying to file a missing persons report. Would you like to share any information, or would you like to share those calls with us? Because that is really sad. I think it's disgraceful that you can't even get. Now, he actually does have a missing persons report. It took about 3 phone calls of fussing. But then he said, I'm going to do a missing persons report, but it's going to be without DNA. And of course,
Right.
Shay has answers for that too. So I'm going to let
But-
her take you through that because I feel like that's very important.
For
So my
them,
mom, go ahead, Brian, go ahead.
they should know that in a situation like this, the protocol tell you the very first thing you do is file a missing persons report. The more people know about it, the better.
That's right.
That's right. And I told you guys that I would be happy to help you get him signed up with NamUs, but without having that NCIC report, they're not going to file him a NamUs number. And
Exactly.
they're going to need to contact law enforcement that's investigating the case in order to get that information. It's the same thing with search and rescue. Those people needed to speak to DNR so they could get all of the logistics about the case, where it's been searched, all of the details, and then they go back, they have a conference, and that's how they put together a plan to come all the way out from Spartanburg and Richland County to come here. Like, they just don't pick up and go, oh, well, there's a guy missing, let's all just pack up the van and go. Like, that's not logically how that works, and DNR knows that. Please tell them, Shay, what another DNR officer said when you told them about these people that I spoke to on the phone that said, yeah, we'll be willing to come out, just have DNR call us. What did Kevin say about that?
He said, have them all come out. Tell everybody to just come on out. We
Yeah,
don't
like
need
we're having
to
a
tell
party
them
or
to come
something.
out.
Like it's a party.
You know
Right.
he knows how to do his job, right? Or does he?
No, but
Well,
he
it
was the
just
first one in
protocol.
line when it got time to eat.
Oh, but
Yeah,
he came out
it just
HL's
one
food every day. He came in HL's food there every day, though. Every time I came to see y'all, he was out there talking about how he's fixing to retire in 6 months and then how much food he could eat. And it was all really about him.
In his
I
Vietnam
mean,
stories.
And I mean,
His
literally,
Vietnam stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. And when I think about Ronnie Floyd, I mean, he seems like he's a decent guy. But is he doing an
I think
effective
he is
job?
personally. I think
What
he's a
he's
decent
doing?
person, decent in his real life. But as a law enforcement officer, I do not believe that it's fair to our family that we have to beg and beg and beg and beg to do the right thing. You don't get to tell me that my nephew is dead. You weren't there. The only two people were there were Tyler and his friend. So we don't know what happened, and they don't know what happened. So don't tell me that my nephew is dead, and just because you can't find him, you do a missing persons report. It took me from 2 weeks after Tyler went missing until March 14th to get that filed. And when I called him on the 14th, or no, it was the 15th, I think me and Brian were on the beach on the 15th together. We had took the bikes and rode down to the jetties like we had been doing for a while. And something just hit me. Me and him sat down on the beach and we were crying because it was so hard for both of us to leave. Every time we had to leave, it was just heartbreaking because we didn't want to leave. We just want to know what happened. And to know that he's telling me that my nephew is dead, he knows he drowned, and that one day his bones are going to wash ashore, but he won't give me a missing persons report, put him in the NCIC, or get him started in NamUs. I mean, what kind of law enforcement agent does that? That's somebody who don't know what they're doing.
Don't care.
Yeah,
and
and
don't
you can
care.
see here that report that he finally did. And the date is 3/14/23. And the reason I bring that up is because Ronnie Floyd gave a statement all the way back in February. I think it was like the 13th or something around that time. And he stated that because of which you have the boat report. You do have the boat report. And I think you have his statement on there, and it does say like the failure of the hull, mechanical failure, hazardous waters. And he goes, I have read his statement. I think his quote was that he's listen to all the super sleuths of the internet, and the only conclusion that he can come to is that Tyler has drowned. And I'm like, but why are you listening to the internet sleuths? We're looking to you to get the factual information so that we can bring the information to our viewers. Because we're about facts here on Dutchess Discussion. We're not about misinformation or making up wild conspiracy theories and things like that. Like, we want there to be justice in these cases. People, still have families that I'm still working with, and their loved one is still missing 2 and 3 and 5 years later.
There's people that's lasted a lot longer than Tyler's been out there, and they still were alive when they found them.
Yeah.
They don't want to find him. They don't care if they find him. It's going to be up to the family and friends.
Exactly.
To find.
Jenna, thank you for becoming a member. I just saw that you became a member of my channel. Welcome to Dutchess Discussions. I'm so glad. Sorry to interrupt you guys. I did not want to miss Tanya because I know a lot of people are coming in here. And I see Mike Maines. Thank you for your donation. And I did see another donation earlier. You guys don't have to send any money. I just want to let you know that. But thank you for being here, Mike. Thank you, Caden, for being here to support the Doyle family. I know it really means so much. This community, you have so many people that care about you and that care about Tyler and his family. I mean, Tyler is a father.
He is. He has a little girl.
He's not here.
And that is heartbreaking. I mean, everything about this whole situation is so heartbreaking. And if anybody could have been in that room besides our family, it was the real immediate family. The night that they took us to the fire station and the Coast Guard told us that they were not going to look for him anymore, that it was not a rescue anymore. It was now a recovery.
Now, this was just 2 days, right, after Tyler went missing? That was on the 28th, I believe, right?
Statistics.
Yes.
Right. They put things into a formulary that says based on the water temperature, the outside temperature, his age, the conditions, the situation with the boat. Like, they basically have this algorithm they put all that into, and they come up with this is what they're going to allow. And see, that doesn't cost South Carolina DNR any money. The Coast Guard does that. That's separate. So it leads me to, where did South Carolina DNR, and I wish I could find that video. I thought that I had it. I just tried to look it up on the internet and I can't find that video. But if you have it, Shay, Ronnie Floyd's boss says that they spent over $100,000.
Ain't no way.
Searching for Tyler. And I'm like, hang on a minute. You spent all your time eating the Doyle's food at the boat landing and telling us how Tyler's been deceased since the first week of February. Everybody else that volunteered their time, and these other people were out there searching. I mean, even my own husband and I went and walked the beaches. We walked the inlets. Brian, even you and I went out there.
There's been people that we didn't even know searching for Tyler.
That's right. That's right.
Out of the goodness of their heart.
Us three have done it.
Just out of the goodness of there's a lot of good people that have been out there searching for Tyler. Just out of the goodness of their heart.
That's right. We have many wonderful people.
There was a guy who came from Charleston, or not Charleston, Charlotte, and he brought his boat, and he had grown up like going down to Merle's Inlet to look for it. He was all alone. He quit working that day and came and brought his boat. There was another old gentleman that was a member of the Freedom Boat Club who wasn't familiar with the area. He got stuck out on Bird Island and had to be towed back in, but he was also there to look for Tyler. There were so many people, so many friends, close friends, that did so much to help us to look for Tyler. The DNR didn't have to look. I mean, we had probably 50 to 75 boats out there looking for him from where we were all the way to Wilmington, North Carolina. Strangers were looking for him out there. So for this guy to go on there and say that they spent a bunch of money, well, I'm sorry, it's about money to him.
That was really not
the approach. Very unprofessional and unethical.
you don't want to talk about, he was like, well, not that it matters, but we spent $100,000. And I thought,
$100,000 ain't shit for me, for my youngin.
Right. When it's your child, if it was their child, you know,
taxpayer
I'm
money,
pretty sure it'd
and
be
that's
different.
what we pay you for.
Yeah, if it was their child, they'd have the President Biden out there on a boat looking.
They sure would.
I was hoping that the military out here for the Chinese balloon, you know, that's, Kay and I talked about that. Like, there's so many boats that were out there. Now I want to ask you a quick question now, and give me the seaweed. Thank you. Give me the seaweed. Says yes, we are some 5 hours away, and they've been steady searching, and they didn't see DNR searching, and they were only out cruising. Yeah, that's what they do. They pretend like they.
Right.
They
Can
were
I
just
tell
on the
you?
news. They were just on the news saying that they're still searching 12-hour shifts.
Exactly. And we know that to not be true.
Tell everybody what the DNR told your mother.
Mom.
Okay? And
my mom's on the phone with me. Mom, can you please tell that day that we went on Wednesday and talk about how two guys went out to search. It was Ronnie Floyd and somebody else. And what did he tell you that day whenever they left?
That was going to be the final search, that they had done all that they could do. And it was a very, very cold, very rough day that day. And he came out on his day off to set a net. But at the end of it, they didn't find anything. And he said that would be the end of it.
That was Ronnie Floyd who told my mother that, because I was in my car whenever he came to her and told her that. But 2 weeks later on Twitter, they announced that they're continuing to search for Tyler.
It was 3 days later. The South Carolina DNR posted a tweet, and that tweet said, "We are still searching for Tyler Doyle with the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office." And I immediately picked up the phone and called Shay, and I said, "Have you seen this?" And she said, "Ronnie Floyd just told my mother he went out there with a 10-foot wide net and dragged the waterway for Tyler." And I literally cried, because I'm like, you mean to tell me they spent $100,000 and the best they can do is come up with a 10-foot wide net?
And he made a big deal out of it being his day off too.
Oh yeah, that was the real part that really burnt me up. It burnt my cornbread to pieces when he said, "Oh, and it was my day off."
Yeah. I mean,
that
he didn't
is
have
not
to do that.
something. That's not something you say to a family.
It's unprofessional.
Very unprofessional. And I just feel like that it's very helpful to know these things, and these are things that the public doesn't know about. How could they? Because they're not going to tell it. They're not even telling the whole story. They're just tweeting out some tweets. And look, I don't know if the left hand knows what the right hand's doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And I've seen what you guys have been through, and it really has been heartbreaking. I have been angry. So I have walked away from that boat landing angry at them so many times for the way that they have spoke to y'all and treated y'all. And it's making me get emotional. So I kept the camera off because I knew I was going to get upset. But the day that Kevin said that about him, well, you're just going to have to accept that he's in heaven with the baby that Lakeland miscarried. And you're just going to have to, that really hurt me. That was inappropriate. You can't be saying things like that.
I mean, when you're a professional and you're in law enforcement, you don't need to bring your religious beliefs into that. We are here to find Tyler. My brother and I, Tyler, Reed, my entire family, we grew up in church. We've all been saved. We know who our Lord and Savior is, that we are Christians. we believe in God. We don't need somebody else to tell us that we need to pray, we need to do this. And then when he said that to me, I was like, seriously? I said, it just struck me in a way where I had to come back, and I said, do you really think that Tyler's in heaven holding a baby that can't survive outside the womb? I mean, to me, that's insulting, and that is very personal, because that's something that Tyler and Lakeland went through that was very emotional and hurtful for them. I
And
mean, it
personal.
affected their lives tremendously. And for him to bring that up and say that Tyler's in heaven holding that baby, you just don't say stuff like that. You know, it's like we're not people to these people. We don't matter. He can just say whatever he wants. They can say what they want. They can tell us what they want and leave us on the back burner, and we're just sitting there waiting. But you don't say that. What Tyler and Lakeland went through when they lost their first baby was very difficult for them. It was an emotional, heartbreaking time. And now she has Paisley, and she don't have Tyler. So for him to make lightly of that, I actually looked at him and said, you know, do you actually think that I believe that? And he said, well, if you didn't have enough sense, you probably would. I said, I guess I would if I'm a stupid person, but I'm not stupid. You don't say that to somebody that you have not experienced this life that we've lived with the people that we love and the losses that they suffer. It's like me and my brother being together. You know, I see every single day what he goes through. And it's heartbreaking. And I know he would do everything for me too. If I needed him with my son, he would be there for me too, just like I'm being there for him. I mean, just yesterday I called and I asked the DNR hotline, I guess you call it, for law enforcement. And I said, I need to know what your protocol and your policy that's set in place for people who go missing. My brother has the video. I sent it to him. I sent it to you, Dutchess. I can't upload it on here now because I don't know how to do that, but I will upload it for people to see that when you call these people at DNR, he actually said to me, well, are you trying to report somebody missing? I said, no. And I had to explain to him who I was, what I was calling for. And then he said, I'll have an officer call you. Well, that's been more than 24 hours. So what they're doing now, I'm pretty sure, is trying to get their stuff in line because they don't have a policy. Obviously, these DNR people are taking care of wildlife situations, not human beings. They're not used to taking care of humans that are gone missing out in the water, because that is obvious in this case. And if they can't admit to that and come up with a new plan to hand it over to a different agency to search for these people, then that is something that really needs to change with our county, our state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I just don't think this has been handled in the way that it needs to. That's not how law enforcement would handle a missing case if it was a person missing on land. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had no idea that if you went missing in the water. Now, and this is not my words, this is the DNR's words, and Brian and Shay can back me up because they're right here. The DNR looked me straight in the face, along with these two, and said, if you go missing in the water in South Carolina, you don't get a missing persons report. True or false? That's
True.
what he told us originally.
Yes.
And I think my face was just in shock, because I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, well, you're missing in the water. Where else are you going to be but in the water? And I'm like, well, what if somebody picks you up on a boat?
Exactly.
What if somebody finds you? Like, and none of that makes sense to me. And then he finally, after many phone calls that y'all had to make about getting this missing persons report, when he finally does it, I think it's only because somebody twisted his arm. He didn't want to do it. That's why he made sure to say, and it's going to be without DNA. And Shay, you do have that phone call, don't you? That
yes.
or the screenshot that you texted him about. Well, what happens? You want to talk to us about that at all?
It's like it's costing him money.
Right. And I'll tell you this, it took me and my brother going to see an attorney to have our attorney call DNR's attorney to get the ball rolling in a different direction, because we were just sitting there doing nothing. They weren't doing what they were supposed to do. And I can speak for our attorney. He looked at all the paperwork and he looked at me and my brother and he said, you know what's going on here? They don't know what they're doing. And then he made one phone call, and like that, here we go. We got our missing persons report. You know, something has to change, because in the future, if somebody else has to go through this, I don't want anybody else to have to go through what our family has had to go through.
Absolutely.
It's not okay. I mean, if you're in charge of wildlife, that's one thing, but don't let that person be in charge of a human life that he
That's right.
claims that he knows what happened to him, but he was not there.
If you're law
Nobody was
enforcement,
there.
you're going to know
Nobody
the
was there
protocols.
but Tyler's friend and him. So they're the only two people who know what happened, and Tyler can't speak. He doesn't have a voice right now, so we have to be his voice.
Amen.
We're gonna find out, though.
Yeah,
That's
we are.
exactly what we're going to do. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
If it kills me, I'm gonna find out.
Say for Jesus, you're right. We all need to make calls to get that changed. And that's what we got to do. That's why these petitions, like for Tyler's Beacon, and we're going to talk about that, in a little bit, but that's why we have these petitions. And this may be something that we also need to talk about, because that worries me. I live here and pay taxes in the state of South Carolina. I don't want to think this is how things are being run. Uh-oh, Brian dropped. Maybe he'll come back.
Bathroom.
But
Yeah, it's not okay. If you're on land, you get a missing persons report within 48 hours. I mean, if you're going to be in the water, you just don't, there's no justice for you. You don't get nothing. The family doesn't get answers. You just get told all this mess that doesn't make sense. No help.
yeah.
I mean, I can show you the text messages from the day that I was told to write my report with Ronnie Floyd. He asked me to get in his truck. He told me to write my statement about finding Tyler's waiters. It was me
about finding that.
Aunt. Huh?
You want to talk to us about finding Tyler's waiters?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if a lot of people know that you and some other people were out that day, and that you were actually the one that found them, because I've seen a lot of people posting in different groups saying that they don't think that you actually found them, and you've got footage, right? You can prove that you're there, right?
I do, and I'm trying to put it over here and share it in this. Can you see that when I pull it over?
You may have to. Well, last time you had to drop and come back up so you could share your screen. Do you want to try that?
Well, I can just show you on my iPad. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. I'll put you
I can
as
talk about it as well. So that morning we left. It was my Aunt Ann, Tyler's great aunt Marie, my cousin Shane, and we were on his boat. And we went out and we kind of mowed the grass from Myrtle Beach all the way to Charlotte. And it was starting to get cold. We were tired. And I kept looking at my aunt and I was like, I think I want to go back. And she said, you tell him. I said, no, you tell him. So we were going back and forth about who should tell what, because we were both cold, but we didn't have the heart to tell Shane because he was very driven to find something. The water was so calm that day. If not, I couldn't have been on the boat because I'll get seasick. And as we were about to ask him, let's turn around, he actually said, no, give me just a few more minutes. And then he spotted something. My cousin Marie told me to go to the back of the boat because whatever they saw, it was much bigger than the birds we had been seeing all day long. And I did what they told me to, because there was no way I was going to see something that I did not want to see. If it was Tyler, I would have been devastated and I would have asked him to leave the scene. But thankfully, it was his waiters. and both the clips were undone on both sides, and we didn't know it was his until Marie pulled the pouch open and she got the wallet out. We were all crying. I mean, I have all the videos right here with me to share. People saying that the wallet was not wet, it was saturated. Jake from North Carolina DNR came out and he got it from us. I got it all on video. I think I lost you, Dutchess.
Nope, I'm here. I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm giving you the stage so you can show this.
I'm
Because
gonna.
having trouble sharing her screen, we kind of practice this, and her MacBook is not wanting to be nice to her.
Yeah.
Because people call in and say there's somebody out there waving their arms. We got there and it's a big unicorn. So, but y'all keep your faith.
All right.
Keep looking. Y'all
Got
awesome.
this coordinates where.
Yep. Just took a picture of it. We'll go meet up with DNR and Hunter and all them and get all this stuff turned over to them. They know it's coming, and we're here. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much. So you can see when I pull my glasses up, and I'll show you another video.
Tell everybody how you recorded that, Shay.
What'd you say?
Tell everybody how you recorded that.
Ray-Ban Stories. Yep.
He called today with the people. They knew for a fact that he had 3 life jackets, and in the boat there's still 2. So there's 1 life jacket missing.
Yeah.
So if he was smart enough to get the waders off, then he could have had it. And I mean, he could be out here floating somewhere.
He could be. And
The good Lord with us right now.
we go to another one. This is
Just
when we first pull up.
and head back up to the thing, and it's. But at least we know.
I mean,
That's something to hang on to right now with the fact of not having them waivers on.
That's right. So we you know. And she
so they only record for like 30 to 60 seconds, and this is when we pulled up to them.
But I smelled in them to make sure there wasn't no smell or nothing.
We were going to turn around and go back in, and he said, well, I'm going to go 5 more minutes. And we went out 5 more minutes. And when he turned to come.
See, that's my aunt even says that too. But this is them pulling up to us. See, nobody has these videos. These are all mine.
Okay.
Right here we all were.
Probably.
They were, he had his wallet and there was no nothing, no kind of smell, nothing like that, and they were not clipped. And they still smell brand new, but it's got the bullet in it, and his wallet was in it.
Okay.
And I'll go to the one where we pulled up and saw them. Second.
This is waiters. Jesus Christ, have mercy. Okay.
Not this space.
And then after that, I immediately called 911. I shared my location with Jake. They got him on the phone, and I can prove that right now that I'm still sharing my location with Jake from North Carolina DNR. And I had to share my location with the Coast Guard. So you can see Jake can see my location still, just in case, because I didn't know if we would ever go back out and try to search anymore at that particular location. But that's that. And it was all day, me and my family together looking for Tyler. Mom, you still there?
You said that Jake was really, you said Jake was really nice and he was very thorough and helpful.
Yes, he was very nice and helpful. And in fact, whenever I had to go to Florida recently, my brother called me because he was upset and he said that they found somebody on Oak Island, somebody that was waving their hands, stranded. They had to send out the Coast Guard or DNR to go find them. And I called Jake, and you could tell he was not at work. It was very loud in the background. I explained what was going on to him, and I said, I'm worried. My mom can actually vouch for this as well. He said, well, we turned that over to Oak Island police, and he
Okay.
said, give them a call. And he gave me their number, and I called him. Of course, it was a guy who was out looking for seashells, and he just got stranded because the tide came in. And they did confirm it was not Tyler. But I was in Florida at the time. But even the night Tyler went missing, the North Carolina DNR, me and my husband and my mom and dad, we went all the way down to Sunset Beach Pier, and we started walking and we were screaming for Tyler's name because they told us that he would have drifted north in the water. So that night we went out, we were screaming. We were so upset. And then I was like, Chad, we can't walk that far. That's a long ways to get to the jetties. And so he took his truck, he drove it underneath the pier, and we took off wide open down the ocean front. And when we made it to the jetties, those police officers in North Carolina were so kind, so understanding, told us that we were not, I was so scared we were going to go to jail for driving on the ocean. And my husband, Chad, said he didn't care. He wanted to get on that side because he thought we could probably see Tyler or, shine a light and see him out in the water and help him some way. But when we got there, they were very kind to us, and they told us that we could actually stay there if we wanted to. They didn't mind us driving down the ocean front looking for him, and they got my number. It was just a totally different experience dealing with the North Carolina DNR than it was with South Carolina DNR.
Yeah, I imagine it is, because there's nothing like dealing with our DNR apparently. So
It's been hard. And I'm not trying to defame them in any way, but I have to, I have to be supportive of my family and what we're going through and be an advocate for Tyler because he can't speak right now.
And you're doing
he's not here to defend himself. And I know if I wasn't here and he knew something happened to me, his dad, his mom, his grandparents, he would do the same thing for us. His wife, his daughter. He's got my parents who adore him. He's got Michelle's mom and dad, Myrna and Milton, who love him so much. His mom and dad, Michelle and Brian. His wife, Paisley. Lakeland and Paisley. He's got so many friends that care about him. It's unbelievable. You could meet him and love him within 5 minutes. That's the kind of person he was, or is. I'm not going to say was. That's who he is.
The first time we talked about Tyler, you showed me some baby pictures of him, and you said you would love him because he's such a good person. He's just that person.
He's got a genuine good heart, and he loves everybody he comes in contact with. And that's why so many people came out to support him, to try and help find him and support our family. It was just unbelievable.
And I just want to say that the family really does appreciate the people that have come out, whether they know the family and the people that have never met Tyler and don't know the Doyle family, that came out and volunteered their time, even if it was just to walk the beaches or to get in their boats or to go out and do whatever it was that they could take the time out of their day to do, to search for Tyler. You have no idea what it means to this family that you took time for somebody that you don't even know to go out and look and search for somebody who's missing. Because they can't be all the places and be out there doing those things, which is why we tried to secure the resources. Now, I had reached out to a couple of other resources in the beginning. I did reach out to Wings of Hope because they were recommended to me. Talk to us a little bit about Wings of Hope coming out to search for Tyler.
Wings of Hope,
tell me how that happened.
They were a blessing to come out and help us with Tyler in the search for him, and I'm very thankful that they were there. When they left, I was very emotional because I knew that was our last hope of a professional company or outsider that would come and help us search for Tyler. My mom, she's on the phone with me right now still. She's here with me, and she can tell you about the day also that we were told that they were not going to be there. It was the last day, and we got to meet their family and the children, and it was just a pleasure to have them there with us throughout that time. Unfortunately, we did get shown a picture that we did not, it did make our hearts crush, but the DNR did not think that had anything to do with Tyler. So we are believing that what Ronnie told us, that he did not think that was Tyler on a sonar picture. So we're going to stand by that, and we thank Ronnie for letting us know that he did see the picture, and that the picture was not put into the report because he did not believe that was Tyler. But we are thankful for what Wings of Hope came out and done. They did everything they could with their dogs and their sonar and the drone, and Brad was very kind to us, and I guess that's all I have to say about that.
That was very, Brad seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And it was really nice of them to come such a long distance away. They had another group with them. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, that had search human scent detection dogs. Mm-hmm. And I remember Shay giving me the phone that day to say that the dogs were hitting on the water.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a few times, Shay. And you called me to let me know that they were going to try to dive on that. Do you remember that day?
I do. I remember it. My mom remembers it. And
then they said, well, the waters are too rough. Now, what do we know about where this particular place is? The water is how deep?
Mom, I think, was it around 7 foot deep?
7 feet.
Is that what you were told, Mom?
3 to 6 feet. Some it was so shallow that they were afraid they were going to cause the boat to get stuck up into the sand, and the water was so. He said some areas 3, no deeper than 6 feet. You could still see the sand on the bottom of it.
So you're telling me that my husband could literally get out in the water and stand at 6'4"?
Yeah, he could.
Like if I thought
Mr. Ronnie Floyd even was willingly, he did tie a rope to himself. And he said if that sonar picture was accurate, then Tyler should wash ashore at any moment. And so with that, he kept saying, okay, I'm going to have this rope tied to me. And if this is Tyler, at any moment he's going to beach. The waves are going to push him to the beach. And I'm going to jump out and I'm going to grab him because we're not going to miss this opportunity. And he said he knew minutes that should occur because in his expertise of how the waves would push to the ocean, to the beach side. And I'm pretty sure he told me, if I stand corrected, he was out there 2.5 hours and nothing ever happened. It never surfaced. And that's what made him confident that picture was not Tyler. Because he said the water was so shallow at that point that there's no way that Tyler would have not beached if that was an accurate picture.
The water was so shallow, somebody could have died it.
I do want to say this, Miss Dutchess. Even in the bad work that they did and the ones that did good work, we are appreciative of every source that came out, whether it was good or bad work. We do appreciate every last human being, animal, anybody that helped. I don't want us to sound ungrateful for no organizations whatsoever.
Absolutely.
This has been a very emotional, mental, physical, spiritual journey that has really crushed each and every one of us. Tyler was everything to us. And it's been so hard. But I do not want this family or people to take it that we're ungrateful. And it's like Shay said, we're trying to bring awareness even to DNR that we have seen some things that South Carolina needs to change. And a lot of it is to do with rescue. Yeah. We live on a coastline where there's drownings weekly, daily sometimes. In the summertime, there's drownings. It needs to be revived. There needs to be some updates. We have some bad equipment. We don't have the stuff that the coastline needs. But I just want everybody to know that we are grateful. Don't ever take anything that we say that we're not, because we are. Good, bad, it doesn't matter. We still thank them, everyone, for doing their part.
Yeah. We know. And y'all are some of the best people that I have ever met. Your family is the most kindest, and you are one of the best cooks. I just want to say that.
Yes.
I'm telling you, they will shower you with kindness, and I mean, such good Christian people. I mean, I couldn't have met a more kind family. I mean, these people are wonderful, wonderful people. So I know when they tell me who Tyler is, I believe it. I believe it, and I want nothing more than for them to get the help and things that they deserve. And I know that y'all are so grateful. But it does hurt me that I have sourced other help and people who were willing to come out and do things. And then it's just kind of like, well, it's kind of like they just lost interest. Because I think Ronnie, in his mind, felt like that he was drowned. So that's where they kind of drawn a line in the sand.
That's been a very frustrating time. I mean, I do not think that they have ever dealt with a situation like this with a family as big as Tyler's. I mean, we have a huge family. My dad is one of 9 siblings. My mom's family, she's got 3 other siblings. We have a very big family, and we've always been close. My mom has always been the glue that held us together as a family. So I guess whenever you see all these people coming out and all the support we have, it's because we are very loved. You know, Tyler's loved. And to have to fight for somebody that you love so much, to be able to, you're being told that, you know, he's not alive, that he drowned, and you won't give me a missing persons report. I should not have to fight for that for my loved one. His daughter, his wife, his parents, his grandparents, his brother, me. I mean, we shouldn't have to put up a big fight just to get that, because if he's going to have a bone wash ashore, like you say, then how are we going to know that that's his one day when it washes up, if that's what's really happened to him? And we still don't. I honestly don't think that I wasn't there. Like I said many times, it was just the two people there that day. So they are the only ones who knows what happened that day. So we're Tyler's voice. We hope and pray that somehow, some way, that he had his life jacket on and he drifted out and somebody got him. I mean, it sounds crazy, but on January 26th, if you research it, there was a Russian military ship waiting out there for the Chinese balloon. And I'm pretty sure people are going to think I'm crazy for thinking that, but I have literally spent my days and nights researching everything I can to find out who was out in international waters that day till now. Me and my brother, we watch the cameras. Any chance we get, we're watching beach cams. We also understand there's a chance that we might never see him again, or nothing might never show up. And that's something that we have to deal with as a family. But we do appreciate the love and support that we have received from everyone throughout our community, throughout the United States. People who don't know us, just reaching out to us and being kind, because that means so much. And I'm doing this video. We did this video tonight to bring awareness and speak out for Tyler and for our family, so people could understand what we have been going through. And I can speak for the entire family that we are all suffering in many different ways. It's hard. I mean, it sucks because life has to go on. We couldn't just sit out at the landing. We all have to go back to work. We all have jobs and we have to support our own families. Lakeland is on her own. My mom and dad are helping take care of her parents. Michelle, she's got support and we're doing everything we can to help take care of her. And Reed, he started a new job. We're just trying to make it through life day to day. And I'm actually not on Facebook much anymore because of the way that our family has been attacked in certain ways. But I'm not going to focus on that because those people don't affect me in any way. And they're not going to affect our family because it's just Facebook, and who cares about that? They can attack us and make lies up, but there's so much more good that's been brought to our family that beats down everything that happened and everything that they say.
Right. Well, I just do want to address that there has been a lot of conspiracy theories. There's been a lot of people saying things that are not remotely true about Tyler going missing. Tyler is not on the run. Tyler is not in Mexico.
Nope.
Tyler is not wanted for murder. Tyler is not run off with somebody. He's not at the racetrack living in a camper.
No.
I just want to make sure that we clarify that while we're here.
Well, as a family, we all wish that was true because we would know where he's at. I mean, it makes no sense. Me, my brother have been here tonight crying, pouring our hearts out. And what you don't see behind the scenes is my dad, I don't ever see my dad cry. And he cries all the time. My mom crying all the time. Lakeland crying all the time. Reed calling me out of the blue, upset. You can hear the sadness in his voice. My brother cries every single day. It's so difficult for us to get through our lives on a daily basis. So if somebody had him somewhere, or if he had run away and wherever they're saying, I would be so thankful for that. But that's not the case. It's not true.
It just causes more, misinformation. And then it distracts from the goal of finding Tyler because people are going down rabbit holes that doesn't even have any truth to it, and it really takes the focus off of Tyler. And then people just start talking about these crazy conspiracies. And that's not what the most important thing is. His loved ones are devastated that they may never see him again. And y'all are out here saying, I don't have any hate for anybody. I just want people to please respect Shay. She is like my sister. I mean, we talk every single day. And
We do.
I mean, I know you. I know the person that you are, and I can vouch for you, and you're one of the realest people that I know, and you'll just tell what you think regardless. And I know that everything you're telling me is the truth. I've seen all the pictures, and I hate that you can't share your screen for some of the things. Is there anything else that you feel like that you want to share with people to let them know? Is there phone calls or text messages or anything that you want me to share?
I do want to share those with you, and I'm going to email them to you so you can make a video for the public to see how many times I called the non-emergency 911 I was doing my hair one morning to go to the landing, and something just hit me, and I was like, I wonder if they put him in missing persons. And my mom is on the phone with me. She can tell you that she knows everything that I've done. And I said, you know what? I'm turned the blow dryer off, and I just called the non-emergency 911 number, and the lady's name was Heather I spoke to. She was in disbelief that he had not been placed in a missing persons database at that point. And so I have fought from that day calling North Myrtle Beach Police Department, Horry County, DNR, SLED. I mean, you name it. I have done everything I could, personally calling Ronnie Floyd crying, begging him to do it, and him telling me why he can't. That's what I've been doing, and I want to share all those videos with you that I recorded every time I called non-emergency 911, SLED, North Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
I will share those.
Send all of that, and I can just make an entire video about that, and I'll put it out and just let people know, like, this is what Shay wants people to know.
And also, the people who were watching the cameras that were very gracious to do that for us and sending out tips. I was also calling the Wilmington Police Department. Whenever somebody saw what they saw floating in Wilmington underneath, I guess it was in the waterway underneath the bridge.
I remember.
I recorded the phone call when I called immediately on that. And I got a call back. I recorded that as well. So I will share all those phone calls. That way you can put them online and everybody can look at them that wants to see them.
Okay. I'll be happy to do. And like I said, from the beginning, I've said, if the Doyle family wants me to share information, if there's things that they want y'all to know, I promise that I will let you guys know. And I've just held everything close to the vest. In this case, because I wanted you guys to be able to speak on it yourself, because I think that it's the most important thing that can happen is for you to use your voice for Tyler. And there's things that you may not want to share, but the things that you feel like that's important for the public to know, especially the things that you have concerns about, not getting the missing persons report, the way that people have been spoken to and treated, and or like Ronnie Floyd saying, we're not searching anymore, but we're still tweeting out that we're searching. Like, there's things that just doesn't make sense, and the public isn't privy to all of the inside information. So this has been very enlightening, I'm sure, to many people that are watching this. And we still go out and walk the beaches, guys. So if you're out on the North Carolina beach area or the South Carolina beaches up in the Little River area, we have a lot of tourists in town right now. So
yes. I would like to encourage everyone who wants information about this entire case to go to the FOIA on DNR and request it. They're going to send you a jump drive in the mail because the packet is too large to print out. Go on there and you will get everything that I have here, everything and more. And that way you can see exactly what took place according to them, I mean, I've got this. This is the printout from the jump drive they sent me. You can see the missing persons report that I finally got. The maps, every single thing has been documented. Even the report where it says that, you know, the night that he did go missing, it actually has it checked that was he injured? No, and it says that he's missing. But I still did not get a missing persons report. But anyway, go to that FOIA part of DNR, request that information, send them an email. They'll send it to you. It doesn't cost anything, and you can have all that information, and maybe you can help our family as well by looking through it.
Yes, absolutely. I have FOIA'd all the information. Of course, you've shared everything you have with me because you actually got extra information that they didn't send me. So, and we've went over it ourselves and looked at it, you know, and that information does have, which I do have. I have like the CETO pictures, you know, I have that phone call log that doesn't make any sense. There's a phone call log, and for anybody who has the FOIA records, that
How it
really
doesn't
has. Yeah, and I have that. Actually, I have it right here where I can pull it up. There was some pictures. Remember, I told you that I had uploaded that in case you wanted me to share. But here is that phone log.
So
Right
you can
here.
see.
So talk to us about this.
Okay, so my calls. Okay, Tyler's calls must be on the right, is what I'm assuming, and or I'm not sure but I can see the other side or the kid that he was with, his phone calls. So I don't know how they're off center and offline because I mean somebody had to go in and change that and do it some way that you just can't. I mean that's not real. It doesn't come out like that. I mean everything should line up in one row. That's been altered and I'm not sure who did it or why, but that's just my opinion.
I have to agree with you. Something just doesn't look right, and we know this because we've looked at your phone record.
That's AT&T phone records, and it does not look like that.
No, it doesn't look like that at all. Not an official phone record.
I mean, you got
I don't know
911
why they're
sitting on
going
top
by
of each
this.
other.
Why didn't they get an official phone record? They are law enforcement, right?
Yes, that's what I have been fighting for an official phone record request, and I guess I'm not going to get that.
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, law enforcement should not get screenshots of phone records through individuals. I mean, they can be altered, they can be changed. They have to request that stuff. If they have to go to a mastery and get it. I mean, I was told by the DNR guy who filled in that day when I was crying, he said, we're going to get them. All we got to do is go to a judge. Well, here's what we've got. We've got screenshots of what the phone calls were, and they were texts to Ronnie Floyd, and that's all we've got. And those can be altered. I can send you a screenshot of whatever I want, and I can change it to anything I want.
That's exactly
right. This is
right.
not accurate and not good police work.
Now, when the investigation about the boat, was there ever a conclusion if there was, you know, what actually happened with Tyler's boat that day? You know, in that 911 call with the young man that was with him, he did say that Tyler was having trouble keeping his motor started. Can you walk us through that situation about what exactly did they find since it was reported that Tyler was having some type of mechanical problem?
Yeah, so whenever I did go to CETO to look at the boat myself, initially because I don't know what I'm looking at. I mean, it's a motor with a hose coming out of it. I thought, oh my God, it looks like it's been cut. But later on, I went back and I took Brandon, which is Tyler's best friend, with me, and Reed went with me too. And we looked at it again, and they explained to me how the hose was kind of dry rotted a little bit, and somehow it kind of cracked, I guess, and tore apart. You could see it in the pictures. I don't know much about boats and all that information, but they were all in agreeing that it was kind of dry rotted. And so the gas line was not reaching the motor and it couldn't get gas. And that's why he lost control and the motor cut off. He couldn't get it cranked. And with the waves high that day, I think they were 4 to 5 feet. And with no motor, I mean, he couldn't get out of there. If his motor was working, he could have made his way out of where he was at. But he started taking on water because the waves were crashing over. And whenever Christian from Ceto towed the boat in, he sent me all the pictures.
And I've got those. Do you want me to show the Ceto picture? I have a couple of them.
When he found it, just about a foot of the bow of the boat was sticking up out of the water because the motor was hitting the bottom.
Right there is the top of the boat sticking out of the water because it's only so deep right there. And that motor was actually wedged in on like a sandbar, correct?
Right. And the tide was going out whenever this all took place. So the tide was pulling him back out. And I mean, that's for multiple people who were out there, the rescue boats and Christian from Ceto, and then the couple who came by in their boat. I mean, so the boat was found, it was literally hitting the bottom. There was like a sandbar right there at that particular area. And that's where it was hitting the bottom at. And that's why the bow was, or the bow of the boat was sticking out. But when I look at these pictures, I think about Tyler and how strong he is and how he took his waders off. I know he's smart enough to put a life jacket on. So we're just still puzzled by exactly what took place that day. And here we are all these days later, 83 days, right? Later. That
80 days.
We want to know, I would love to really know, our whole family would love to know what really happened out there that day. And we'll never know because you know what? There was nobody else there but two people. And Tyler can't speak for himself. So we have to be his voice. And I won't stop. My family won't stop until we find what we are looking for. And we do what's best because he would do everything for us. If it was one of us, he wouldn't stop either. So we're not going to stop. I'm not going to stop making phone calls. I'm not going to stop going to do whatever I got to do with the DNR to get what I want to find my nephew.
Well, that's what we've got to do. And that's what we've been doing. That's why the name of our Facebook group is called Fighting to Bring Tyler Doyle Home. Because this has literally been a fight for 83 days. And there's just things that people didn't really know that the family was going through. So when I saw these people that were kind of like, going after the family, I'm like, they don't need this right now. And I hope that this live stream will have given you guys some extra information. And I'm sorry that we're not able to have Shay to share her screen with that information that she wants to share, but she is going to send it to me. And I'm going to make a video and I'm going to share all the things that she wants me to share with you so that you can see it and that you can hear it for what it's worth so that you'll know. Because we really don't have any information. There's all kinds of what ifs or possibilities, but we don't have any proof. I do remember one thing that we did think was really interesting, Shay, was Ronnie Floyd said that Christian stated in the 911 call that Tyler was hanging on to the bow of the boat. Do you remember us talking about that?
Report? He did put that in the report, which we need to share. And I can email that to you tomorrow if you don't have that from your FOIA information. But yeah, he did put that in the report, but I didn't hear him say that on the 911 call.
Either. I did not hear Christian say that he saw Tyler hanging onto the bow of the boat. I remember him saying, I don't see him. I've lost sight of him. I don't see him anywhere.
Yeah.
And see, that's what I said, Erica. I also said, it seems like he would have just held on to the boat. But he also, Patty, I did question that. That's why anything is possible, because whether you believe it or not, those things happen.
Right. And so he put in his report that we accused Christian Holden of this initially. We never accused him of anything. We asked questions, and we had a right to ask questions. I asked, I said, I know accidents happen. And he actually put in the report that we accused that kid of doing this. We didn't. But we have every right in the world to ask questions about what happened. I mean, I questioned that boy that night when I was at the landing. I actually went to that car and I said, I want to know why you're here and why my nephew's not here. He had already gotten out of the ambulance at that point. That's whenever the boat went by. The sea tow boat went by, and it was just carrying Tyler's boat and not him. And I grabbed my brother by the hand and I said that my mom said she's got to go right now. Let me say, okay. And I'll get off the phone with her.
Thank you, Jason, for that. Just let me know if you're ever in this area, because, I live right here and I can meet you, because you're so sweet to do that. I really appreciate you. And thank you, Gimme Seaweed. That's right. We won't stop Tyler Wilson Rule. We won't.
Oh.
This family deserves to have answers and be treated in a way that's respectful. And I expect more from law enforcement than some of the things that they've done.
It should be an open book. I mean, what's there to hide? Just tell us everything we need to know. You don't need to, like he's saying that we accused that kid of doing it at first. We did not accuse him at anything. I just simply went to him and I asked him, where is Tyler at? I mean, he was the last one with him. And when I asked Ronnie Floyd, I just actually said to him, hunting accidents happen all the time. I mean, if something bad happened, I'm pretty sure he was shook up no matter what. I mean, it's not wrong for us to ask questions, and for him to put it blatant in the form like that we accused him. We didn't accuse him of anything. We asked Ronnie Floyd questions about what that child had told him or that kid told him. I mean, because we didn't know.
I'm going to share my screen real quick, you guys, for something that I do have that I want to make sure everybody is aware of, because it's so important, is this petition.
Yeah.
Save Lives in South Carolina. Tyler's Law will require beacons be issued in South Carolina for hunters and fishermen. Because if you're out on the water and you have a gun, anything can happen. What if you accidentally shoot yourself? You could press that button on the beacon and it would send a distress signal to law enforcement, to the nearest 911 agency. Like, these people would get notified and they would automatically have your location, because that beacon, you just attach it to your waders, you attach it to your life jacket if you're on a boat. This is critical.
It is critical, very critical.
And so, this petition is so important. We have 44,329 signatures. We're trying to get to 5,000. I see we've got some people that have actually signed today. Thank you guys so very much. I did this petition because the family asked me to, just in case anybody wants to know why my name is on it. It's because the family asked me to put this together, because, as this petition states, in light of the recent events surrounding the disappearance of duck hunter Tyler Doyle from the North Jetty in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Doyle family, friends, and the local community of Horry County, South Carolina, are proposing Tyler's Beacon Law for issuance of Tyler's Beacon. This law will ensure all game hunters and fishermen who receive a license in the state of South Carolina will also receive a waterproof beacon with a serial number, and this beacon will be known as Tyler's beacon. The serial ID number and person's name will be registered, and when you send that, when you have that beacon, like, it's going to go somewhere. Like, there's going to be people that are going to be notified because, listen, the family has suffered this loss that they can't make.
We could never. There's never going to be another Tyler. His wife is taking care of his little baby, their little baby, all by herself with the help of family. He's never going to get to see his daughter. I mean, his parents are never going to see him again. His brother, his grandparents, my mom and dad, Myrna and Milton, Michelle's parents. He's a real person, and we're heartbroken. And I just hope that what we did tonight will bring some enlightenment into what's been going on in our family. The suffering that we've had to endure over 83 days of not knowing where he's at or what's going to happen. But, it's sad because life has to go on. And you have to, it just goes on very differently. And our lives are never going to be the same without him. And it's a daily struggle because my only sibling, my brother, his son, I have to watch my brother fall apart almost daily. And it's hard. It's very hard because that's his son.
I can't imagine losing my child or the not knowing. I mean, I think even the knowing is difficult, but the not knowing, I think, is even worse.
It's horrible. I mean, it's hard to explain, but we have been through so much, and we just all want to thank the people who have stood behind us. You, Kurskin, and Dutchess have been amazing. Without you, I don't think that we would have been able to get the word out. I completely love you with all my heart.
I love
you and your husband. I mean, thank you so much for your support and for what you've done for us. You didn't have to do this.
Listen, I just wanted to be there. If you needed anything, I remember when I came over there, I just stopped by and said, if there's anything that you need, if there's anything that I can help you with, I live in that house right there. Don't hesitate. My phone number. If there's something that I can do to help, and then, we got to talking, and it turns out you needed a little bit of help. And
I needed help. We all did. And now 83 days later, you're like our family. You are a part of our family.
Well, you're like my sister, and it's going to be that way for the rest of our lives. You have me for the rest of your life now, whether you want to or not.
No, I love it. Thank you.
I just hate that it had to come about in this situation. Sometimes we don't know that when people are going to get brought into our lives like this. But you guys have been such a blessing, and I wish that we could have gotten different answers earlier on in this case. And that's what I was really praying for every day. My husband and I, we have this big prayer list, and every night before I go to bed, I pray for the missing. I pray for all of the people, my moderators, and the thank you mods, by the way, and all of my members. I just want to say thank you so much for all of you people that are here supporting Shay and Brian because they really need that, guys. And, this is what we do. Dutchess is not just me. Dutchess is a team, and we all work together to share missing cases. I make missing flyers. Arctic Fox makes missing videos. It's a collaborative thing that we do together. We work together as a team. We put aside our personal differences because there is a bigger task at hand. Because there is somebody going missing every 40 seconds in the United States. Yep. And that is a scary thing. And our law enforcement agency here in South Carolina is not the first law enforcement agency that I've had to butt heads with. You know, I still have Amber Ray Johnson's case in Arizona. This is why I reached out to you, because in the event there was a situation, I could give you the resources so you could call those people and get help. Like when I said, you need to call the lady at SLED. That was the missing persons coordinator, to see if she could help you get some of these answers. You know, you gotta wear out all the resources that you can. And that's what we do. We have tons of resources, and Arctic Fox and all of my wonderful moderators, Michelle Macklin, all of these people, these are a central part. We got Chase and Justice. I mean, these are the people. We have Queen Ashley that are working for you, that are helping me to be able to help you and to help other people. And I just want to bring awareness and allow you to be able to tell your story, to tell Tyler's story. Yeah. I think it's so much more valuable when it comes from you. And we've had these conversations. And I'm very proud of you. You're so brave, and I respect you so much for being willing to fight for Tyler, because he's worth it.
Oh, he's definitely worth everything. He's irreplaceable. He's a special young man,
and I can only imagine
you could have known him, because you would have fell in love with him within 5 minutes. He's that lovable. He's a big, lovable person. Very kind. Just born with a good heart.
Sorry, y'all, about the barking, but my Doberman probably sees the ducks or something. I don't know what she's doing, but I apologize for that. So, is there anything else that you want to add? If you know that you're always welcome to come back. If we figure out how you can share your screen and you want to maybe have another live stream in the future, and you want to share all that information, like on a live stream, you know, you can always just call me and let me know. And
I've been trying to share this screen, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, she
but
just wasn't
able to say that.
We'll get it figured out, and if we can't, then I can just make a video, and you know, and if you ever do want to come back and share more information and talk to us, if there's ever any updates or anything that you or Brian, and please let Lakeland know that we congratulations on her new baby girl, and that we are going to continue to pray for her, because I can't imagine what she's going through, and that I really do wish her all the best, and I hope that she's doing okay. I don't really speak to her, but
it's hard for her. I mean, her life has been turned upside down also, and she has Precious Paisley and no Tyler, and so I mean, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, and she's young.
She's young, and she's a young mom.
Imagine being that young and losing my husband and having a new baby. That's a lot to take on.
I want everybody to know that as a family, as a whole, we have taken care of her the best that we can do, and we will. She's got what she needs. She's loved. She's taken care of. Paisley's loved. Don't worry about her, because the Doyle family, Michelle, Lakeland's parents, they're all going to be there. We're all going to pull together and make sure that she's taken care of.
Yes, and that's good. You got to stick together. This is a tough situation, you know. But I'm hoping that, you know, maybe there'll be a day where you'll be able to find closure. But until then, I hope that you're able to get NamUs to speak with law enforcement, which would be Ronnie Floyd.
Yes, I did complete the forms for NamUs, and
Good.
it is pending. Yeah, it's pending. I know it's pending. South Carolina DNR. The NCIC report has to be submitted still, which that's on him. But I did contact the lady, and she did get my report, and she said that it is in the works to be completed. So
good. I'm very glad, at least about that much, because
yeah,
we
and
had that.
Reed is gonna give his DNA to put on file for Tyler. And
so he is going to let there be DNA on the missing persons report now?
Well, last I heard, yeah. So he is now agreeing, last I talked to him, that Reed would be the one that he would want to go on there, which is fine. And I asked Reed, and of course Reed is ready and willing to do it as soon as possible.
Okay, well, that's great. That's wonderful, because that should have happened from the beginning. I mean, in my opinion.
Unfortunately, yeah, it should have.
Will want to know that, because NamUs also has resources where they can have law enforcement to come out and collect that DNA, and they will process it for you.
Good.
In my eye, I think I have a hair in my eye or something. Oh my goodness, it feels like I've scraped my eyeball. I don't know what I just did. Maybe it's an eyelash. Good gracious. This has been a really great conversation, and I hope that the people that are listening to this live, whether it's morning or noon, or if this is your evening, or maybe you're on the night shift and you're catching this on a replay wherever you are around the world. If you're following this Tyler Doyle case, this is the live that you want to get the information, because this is the family speaking on Tyler Doyle's case and things that have transpired, and expressing to you their concerns and things that has happened during this case, and why they are still fighting to bring Tyler Doyle home. So Shay, I just want to thank you for being here. I think I got it. I think I got the hair out of my eye. And sharing all of this with me and with everyone here in the chat and out there that's following Tyler's case. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And please hug your mom for me and your dad, and tell them that I keep them in my prayers often. I need to get back out there to Tyler's Produce and get me some fresh veggies, because that was so great. I love that. So I'm going to go back out there.
Strawberries going out now, so you need to go.
Oh, I need to go out there and get some. I've been meaning to get out there. So
yeah.
And just let Brian know that if he ever needs anything, he can always reach out. And if you ever want to come back and speak to us, if we can ever get this share thing figured out and you want to do it that way, we can. But if not, you just email me all the things and we'll talk about it. And then everybody that's listening, once I get all of that information, I will be working to put together a video for everyone and let you see some of the things that Shay wasn't able to share with y'all tonight. And I apologize for the technical difficulties that we're having.
It's the MacBook and the Windows don't want to cooperate together.
Yeah.
The Mac and the Windows don't work together, so I might have to go and get me a regular non-Apple.
You'll send me stuff sometimes, and then I'm like, I never got it. And you're like, oh gosh, I sent it. I forgot you have a Samsung and I have an Apple, and so
they just don't work out.
Yeah, we'll get it worked out. And the next time you're ready to go back out and do another search or whatever it is that you need, just you give me a call.
Okay. And if anybody has questions that they want to ask us as a family, or they think that we should ask as a family to law enforcement, please reach out.
Yeah, you can email me at Dutchess for the missing. One of my mods can drop my email in the chat to have Nightbot to share that. It's Dutchess 4, the missing @gmail.com. And if you don't feel like that you got all of the information, or there was something that we didn't touch on tonight, that you want to hear more about, please just drop me an email and let me know, and I'll share that with Shay. And, and I did say, if there needs to be a part 2, we'll kind of get some feedback about how this live stream went, because I think we were all a little nervous about how this was going to go, because it's a lot of information, and you guys have been through a lot. And yes, we're just north of Myrtle Beach, Angelina. So this is where all this has taken place, in Horry County, South Carolina. So you have the whole FOIA too? Gimme Seaweed? We appreciate that. I think I have some of it, but there's things that she has that I don't have. So
they sent it to me on this.
Yeah, and they didn't send me that.
They sent
They didn't send me a quarter of the stuff that you got.
The missing persons report came separate. It just came as a sheet of paper, but that came, and I have all of this with a ton of information on it.
Yeah, they didn't send me anything like that. So, we're going to take a look at all things FOIA, and maybe we'll do another live and we'll just talk about all the things that came in the FOIA report. And because it was very interesting. Some of the things that we did talk about tonight were in the FOIA, like the 911 calls. 3 of those 911 calls are public, and the 4th one was Shay. And I played that for you guys tonight on the live. The CETO pictures, maps. I think one of the maps that was on the live was this one, for example, where they talk about in the inlet, it looks at water depths and the latitude and longitude where he was supposedly last seen. Like, here's a copy of his missing persons report that was finally issued. This is a sketch of Tyler's boat, where it was located. I guess this is the red dot, must be where he started, but then I guess the boat was found out here. So they only sent me a select amount of things on mine. But Shay got so much more when she asked.
A huge file.
A huge file. And so that will be very interesting to really take, see that it is a lot. And we appreciate that, Gimme the Seaweed. And I think Gimme the Seaweed wants to know if they can send you a message on Facebook. So is your Facebook under Gimme the Seaweed, Gimme the Seaweed?
Yes,
So
send me a message, and that's fine. I mean, I'm happy for any insight that anybody has into anything.
And if you can't get through Shay on Facebook, like, you guys can message me on Facebook and say, hey, I saw your live. I want you to pass this on to Shay. You can send me an email, and because we talk every day. So if you have questions that you don't think was answered, that you would like to for us to talk about, or you don't think that we answered, or that you're curious about, like, please let us know. Because the family just wants to be transparent, and they're very grateful for everyone that has taken the time to pray for this family and to search for Tyler, and to not give up. Because it's been 83 days, but we don't want to give up yet, because we can't just forget about it. We've got Tyler's beacon law, because what if somebody else goes missing, in a situation like this? And I've had people say, well, then it's going to make the hunting license more expensive. But how valuable is your life?
Right.
My husband's life, there is no price tag on that. And he told me he'd go out and buy one in a minute. And there's a lot of hunters that already use these beacons of their own volition, because they know that an accident can happen.
Right.
We're going to just keep fighting the good fight. We're going to keep sharing this petition. We're going to keep Tyler's name out there, because this family deserves answers. And I just want to thank you guys for being here. And thank you for supporting this family.
Yes, thank you very much.
I love you, Shay, and I will talk to you later. So I hope you have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, guys. So that was Shay, and Brian. And so that is all that we have for this evening. And I really appreciate all of you being here and taking the time to join us for this conversation. That they just wanted to, and they were nervous to come up and speak about some of these things, but they really felt like it was necessary to make sure that people were aware that there's other things going on that people don't even know about. So I really just appreciate all of y'all being here. Thank you to the new members that joined. And thank you for the people that sent a super chat. You guys are so amazing. You didn't have to do that. This stream is not monetized. It will never be monetized. And you never have to donate. And I hope that next time we won't have to turn it on a subscribers level of 30 days. The family was just really nervous about having a multitude of people come in and they felt like they might be attacked. And so I told them that I would make sure that that didn't happen. So I appreciate you guys just respecting the family and being so kind and being willing to hear their story. And thank you to all the people who actually know the Doyle family, the racing family. I just want to give you guys a shout out and say thank you. And thank you, Give Me the Seaweed, for coming over and subbing to my channel and being here to support the Doyle family. I really, really appreciate it. And we also had Camden, no, not Camden, Caden MC. Thank you for being here, Caden, to be supportive. I really appreciate that. And I know that meant a lot to Brian and Shay for y'all to be here. They were so great, Jessica. If you guys will please share this video out, because I know they want people to know this information. It's so critical. I feel like there should be a petition that's going to maybe come into play to make sure that South Carolina DNR has the correct law enforcement training that is necessary to be law enforcement. Because I think they should be expected to know the protocols that the rest of the law enforcement agencies in the state of South Carolina have to adhere to. And I think respecting this family when you're in a place of authority like that is critical. Because we can't imagine what they're going through and the way that they were spoken to by professional people in law enforcement. It was a big insult to the family. And I also want to thank Tyler's grandmother, Miss Linda, for being on a phone call and sharing that information with us. Y'all, she is the most kindest lady. She reminds me a lot of my mama. And I just want to thank Miss Linda. Listen, she is one of the most kindest, caring people that I know. And that's why Shay is such a beautiful soul. And Brian, too, because they get it from their mama. Well, Ricky, if you're listening, you're a sweetheart, too. Don't tell anybody I said that. He is. And he really misses his grandson. Y'all be kind to people out there. Try not to be judgmental about what somebody else is going through, because if you haven't been in those shoes and you don't know, who are you to say what that person might be dealing with? So we're going to keep fighting to bring the missing home. So I have a little outro put together to take us out of here. And, I'll be talking to Shay and Brian in the next, week, and I'll get all that information together, and maybe we'll schedule another live where we can come back and talk about this more and go over those documents. I think it would be great if we could do a live and have the screen shared. If she sends me all that, I can share my own screen. And, if she wants to come up and join, we can do that. But I do want to thank Shay and Brian. They're just wonderful people, and they're such a blessing. And I know that Tyler was such a blessing to have this wonderful family who loves him so much. Don't stop praying for this family. They need it. Michelle, thank you for all you do for the missing. I couldn't do it without all these wonderful moderators that are in here. So before you leave, thank a moderator because they help to keep things in an orderly fashion. And I can't do it without my team. These team members, they are serious about finding the missing. They care about these cases. And I just want to thank all of you guys. Chasing Justice was here earlier. She is a great person who fights for what's right. And I admire her so much. I have such a wonderful team. And I'm missing a few people that aren't here tonight. And I just want to say I miss y'all. And thank you to all my members. Thank you to all my members who support us finding the missing. Thank you so much for being here. So I'm going to get together this video real quick and share my screen and take us on out of here so you guys can have dinner and do whatever you do. Go watch some other different YouTube stuff. But don't forget about Tyler Doyle's case. And if you want to join the Facebook group over there, just remember you got to answer all the questions. And no disrespect over in fighting to bring Tyler Doyle home. I want to say thank you to all the moderators and admins over in the Facebook group for fighting to bring Tyler Doyle home. An amazing group of people over there who have been doing some serious work, putting this all together and keeping it straight over there. And I just appreciate all of you guys over there. So a big shout out to y'all for doing this for the family and having a place where people can go over and support the family and pray for the family and continue to lift the family up. Just getting over here where I need to be. And I hope y'all have a wonderful week. Okay, I'm going to take us out of here. And again, enjoy your night, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care, y'all.
I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not
Let's go.
that you would wanna cross.
I move quietly, like a shadow, there's a dark side to me. I work privately to go build and create my own dynasty. A new rivalry, it emerges ever so silently. But I got fight in me, so I'll squash anything that's trying me. I'm like, me versus you, I hope that you know what you're getting into. I got nothing to lose, so you better watch out, can't predict my moves. I'll make you irrelevant, I don't stop till I'm at the top settling. I live here like a local resident, and you know I ain't selling it.
I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross. I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross. I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost, I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take out, I'll overpower any boss, cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross.
Round two, I gotta screw loose. I'll work all night if it's what I gotta do. Who needs sleep when the caffeine's brewed? I don't fatigue, I just have to move. I don't do things for the hell of it. I do things that I do for the benefit. I make moves that'll make me relevant. I've been telling them, you just gotta work hard, play hard, punch that race card, move fast, take charge, do that, make guard, move past fake cards, lose that hate card, and never give up when the gun goes race stars.
I won't stop, I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost. I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot. I'll overpower any boss. Cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross. I won't stop. I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost. I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot. I'll overpower any boss. Cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross. I won't stop. I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost. I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take a shot. I'll overpower any boss. Cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross. I won't stop. I'm here to get what I want. I'm not lost. I'm here to make it to the top. I'll take out. I'll overpower any boss. Cause I am not someone that you would wanna cross.
Bye, y'all.